Morbius. We all know the name now. One of the greatest films of all time. It sold over 1 trillion tickets and now has an average review score of 203% on Rotten Tomatoes. But how powerful is the master of Morb himself? That's what we're hoping to find out today. We're going to be power scaling Morbius using the Versus Battle Wiki tiering system, which shall be linked in the description in case anyone gets confused. I shall be going over all of Morbius's physical statistics, his hacks abilities, and of course his gear and intelligence. And of course, we're focusing on the Sony movie version, so that means no comic books. With all that out of the way, it's Morbin time. Now, as we all know, Morbius has two different states. His normal form, and what I will refer to as his morbed form. Dr. Michael Morbius once suffered from a very serious blood disease, and he decided to fix it by merging human DNA with bat DNA on himself. That means he has the ability to transform into a bat-like vampiric creature. While transformed, Morbius gets a huge boost to his statistics, making him stronger, faster, and more durable than ever before. Now, this isn't to say that Morbius is weak while he isn't transformed, as he still has access to some of his vampiric abilities while in base. Another thing that can affect his level of strength is whether or not he's drinking blood. He needs blood in order to survive, and he can either drink artificial blood or true blood. While drinking true blood, he is more powerful. Near the end of the movie, Morbius decides to drink real human blood from one of his assistants. This gives him a huge power boost and allows him to take on Milo, the main villain. While at his peak potential, he was able to go toe-to-toe with another vampire, Milo, who can dish out some seriously powerful attacks. During their fight, Milo manages to slam Morbius through several tons of concrete, smashing him through the ground and into an underground tunnel. Thanks to some calculations done on the Versus Battle Wiki, we know this feat comes around to be anywhere between 1.67 tons of TNT or 3.938 tons of TNT, aka in between building level plus and large building level. His AP and durability should scale to this, as he is able to go toe-to-toe with Milo and also can tank multiple attacks from Milo. This means that at a low end, Morbius can be scaled to building level plus, and at a high end, he could be scaled to large building level, meaning if you use the high end of this feat, he could probably take down an entire skyscraper on his own. His lifting strength should be at least around peak human, since he's able to casually lift people, but it could be even higher than that. We just don't have many lifting strength feats for him. Now, when it comes to speed, things get a little weird. During his first run-in with Milo, Morbius was able to fly faster than a subway train. Subway trains in New York normally travel around 17.4 miles per hour. However, they can reach top speeds of up to 55 miles per hour. It's unlikely that this train was moving at top speed, but if you want to highball it and say that it was, that would mean that Morbius has a travel speed faster than Usain Bolt. However, he might have even better travel speed feats than this. Near the end of the movie, he manages to fly across the city in a very short period of time. And also, off-screen, he manages to swim all the way out from international waters back to his home. This would also imply that not only can he breathe underwater, but he also has incredibly high stamina, being able to swim all the way back from international waters. As long as he's got enough blood in him, he can just keep moving and keep fighting. That's pretty impressive. However, while his travel speed is impressive, his combat and reaction speeds are even higher. Morbius is able to react to and dodge bullets, seeing them as moving in slow motion thanks to his enhanced perception. This would easily put him in the supersonic speed category, since bullets can move faster than the speed of sound. However, there is a way to get his speed even higher than this, ridiculously higher, and it's kind of complicated. As revealed at the end of the movie, Morbius exists within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and with that comes another villain, Vulture. If you aren't aware, Adrian Toomes was the main villain from Spider-Man: Homecoming. He brings with him an advanced super suit which allows him to fly and go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man. Now, MCU's speed scaling gets kind of wild. This is all because of Captain Marvel, a hero with the ability to fly at high speeds along with other powers. During the events of Avengers Endgame, Captain Marvel manages to search a large part of a planet in a very short period of time. Doing some calculations, we can find out that in order to achieve this feat, she would have to be moving at speeds that would make her massively hypersonic plus. And I'm not lying when I say that almost every single relevant character in the MCU would scale to this. That's because Thanos is able to keep up with Captain Marvel in their brawl. You know who else can keep up with Thanos? Spider-Man. And since Adrian Toomes can fight Spider-Man, that would mean he would be able to move at speeds that are massively hypersonic plus. Morbius was able to sense and react to Adrian Toomes' arrival. Now, it may be a little bit iffy right now to say that Morbius can keep up with the Vulture, but I just wanted to point out that this high end exists in case anyone wants to use it. That pretty much wraps up the physical statistics section, now moving on to Hack's abilities. As stated before, Morbius has injected himself with bat DNA, giving him a ton of vampiric-like powers. Now, along with being able to transform into a morbed state and also gain superhuman strength, speed, and durability, it also gives him a ton of new abilities. One of the first he learns about are his enhanced senses. He's able to use echolocation to track down targets that would normally be hard for a human to sense. His hearing is so advanced, he can hear people talking from across the city. Not to mention he's also able to pick out certain people's voices to pinpoint their location, such as when he tracked down Milo. This allows him to react to and catch things while blind as well. Being able to sense things and see them as smoky particle effects is really useful since the movie is so goddamn dark you can't see anything. Now, as mentioned before, Morbius has the ability to fly by sensing and riding on various air currents. On top of that, since he's a vampire, he doesn't need to breathe or eat anything. He can just drink human blood or survive off artificial blood for a limited period of time. Morbius is also able to grow various claw-like appendages, allowing him to scratch his enemies. The Doctor also seems to possess a degree of regeneration, since he was scratched in the stomach by Milo and managed to heal those wounds. Since Milo used the same formula that Morbius did, Morbius should have all of the powers that Milo shows, including the ability to generate powerful shock waves. Another ability that Morbius possesses allows him to communicate and control swarms of bats. The bats that Morbius can call, for some reason, can keep up with Milo, meaning that bats in this universe have an incredibly high level of speed. Another lesser-known ability that Morbius seems to possess is a degree of technology manipulation. When he first transformed, various lights on the ship he was on started malfunctioning. Along with this, Milo started malfunctioning the lights in the hospital he attacked. This sort of power could be useful in a stealth situation, since he could disable more lights in the area, allowing less people to be able to see him. The movie doesn't seem to go into that power much though, so we know very little about it. That basically wraps up the Hack's abilities section, onto intelligence and gear. As implied by his title, Dr. Michael Morbius is, well, a medical doctor. He went to medical school and became a doctor because he wanted to help fix a rare blood disease that both him and Milo possessed. During his experiments, he was able to invent artificial blood, an invention that would have won him a Nobel Prize if he didn't reject it. This artificial blood works similarly to normal blood, meaning that it can be transfused into people who need it to survive. Morbius can also feed on artificial blood to keep himself stable, however this becomes less and less effective the longer he decides not to take normal blood. Through his experiments, Morbius found a way to merge human DNA with animal DNA, giving them superpowers. Morbius is extremely intelligent and managed to learn how his abilities work in a short period of time, along with cataloging how long it would take for him to go crazy. He can also be pretty smart in battle, hiding from enemies or deciding to pull out new powers to take them out. With preparation time, Morbius can also create various poisons that can affect superhumans. He created a special poison that was able to kill Milo, a person who has regeneration. This means that if Morbius were given prep time, he could go to his lab and invent something to help him kill an enemy that he usually would not be able to overcome. Morbius is so intelligent that as a child he was able to repair a complex medical machine. This impressed the doctors around him so much that he was taken to a special school for gifted children. He's basically the Tony Stark of the Sonyverse, being able to repair complex machinery with nothing but a box of scraps. And with that, we wrap up the video. In summary, Morbius is a very intelligent and very powerful vampire. His AP and durability should be anywhere between building level plus and large building level, and on top of that his speed can be anywhere from around supersonic to even massively hypersonic plus. In terms of power, he possesses superhuman speed, strength, durability, can fly, can drain people's blood to gain energy, regenerate, create shockwaves, and even transform. And to top it all off, he's a super genius, being able to invent serums that can transform others and give them superpowers. And that's basically where Morbius scales. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my other videos. Remember to subscribe.